to the next day, a world of wellness. My name is Mike Gallagher. I'm here in Pittsburgh, Babcock Road, down in lovely Baldwick Road, excuse me. Thank you, Phil. Yes. And so we are here today. We're going to talk about what is new at Nutritional Frontiers. And I guess it's really best by saying what's not new, because we have so many things, so many improvements, so many new flavors. We're going to talk about just in the last couple months, just some of the things that we've done, in addition to the over 20 formulas last year that we also helped improve or have come out with some new and improved flavors as well. So come on down here, folks. We have all kinds of fantastic things. We have free samples. We have free shakes. We have everything on special. We have these talks going on all day, every day, and especially with the grand finale this Saturday with Dr. Bob Rakowski, who is a clinician, chiropractor, new functional medicine nutritionist out of Houston, Texas. He will be here Saturday. And folks, he's one of my favorite speakers of all time. I always learn a lot whenever I listen to him. So that is this Saturday starting at 11 o'clock. So we also have, you can ask any type of questions going on. We have 2 chiropractors. We have a brand new nutritionist, Alicia, here to help you as well on diet and lifestyle. So we have a lot of great stuff happening. So again, if you're in the neighborhood, come on down. We are recording this course on YouTube, World of Wellness, the Globe Icon. So for people who can't watch it live, there's always that option as well. Okay. So we're going to get right into it. Just a little background on myself. For those who don't know, my name is Mike Gallagher. I'm a certified lifestyle educator. I've been in the nutrition industry almost 30 years. I've worked with all different types of practitioners. I can answer majority of questions for any health issue. Obviously, this is one piece of the puzzle with the supplements. We're combining with proper diet and lifestyle to get the fastest relief. So that's where Alicia can really help on that level. Okay. So we're going to get right into it with the new formula. So we're going to just go right off our website, which is nutritionalfrontiers.com. We also came out with a new website last year, and we're constantly updating it, constantly tweaking it, making it even better, more user-friendly. But we're going to go right into the new flavors or new items, starting with this one. Okay, so this is a brand new flavor on the Air Max. Okay, strawberry flavor. So, folks, I've done many talks regarding the Air Max Challenge, and it's still a really, really bad time of year for a lot of people right now. In fact, just yesterday in the Pittsburgh area, the air quality was terrible. Around the 4th of July, it was a red alert, and it's been bad. It's been bad for a lot of people with lung issues, respiratory issues, sinus issues, and this formula could really dramatically help in 15 minutes or less. So we've had the original orange chewable for years and years and years. We've had some incredible results with them, but we're always trying to have new flavors, and that's where this new flavor comes into play. So strawberry, or as I like to say, sensational strawberry, right? Sensational strawberry. So these things are whenever you're developing new flavors and new formulas, there's a lot involved, and behind the scenes, people here at the company, of course, starts with the fearless leader, Jamie Dorley, CEO and co-founder, but his son, Zach, who's a biochemist background, he really helps with the raw materials, the ingredients, the flavors. And again, there's so much involved in this people don't realize, but with this formula alone, it took almost 2 years for us to develop this new flavor, strawberry. We then went through many different samples, many different flavors with this flavor. And then we sent them out to some of our top accounts, top doctors that use us in nutrition. We had them try it here at the clinic here. We had kids try it, every demographic try it. So again, a lot involved, a lot of market research is involved in this. And again, we want it to taste good. We know if it doesn't taste good, you're not going to take it. So we really try our best to make this and help on every level. So let's get into the nuts and bolts of it. Obviously, the flavor, and we are sampling it here at the clinic. So come on down. Again, we encourage you to try this. But when we look at the ingredients with it, so we have it in two options, the capsule or chewable. The chewable is going to work faster. So when you break this down, you have really three core ingredients, right, that really help with, and again, we're talking anything that you would compare to Benadryl, Allegra, Zyrtec, right? So any type of histamine reaction, any type of sinus issue, um, even poison ivy, bee stings, mosquito bites, even can be helpful at nighttime. We've had several cases that have told us that it helped even with snoring, taking it right before bed. We've also had a couple testimonials and cases, even with people on CPAP breathing machines, that working with their practitioner, they were actually able to transition off their breathing machine. So that's pretty powerful. And even more serious issues like asthma, pneumonia, bronchitis, things like this, we would do a higher dosage. We'll talk about that more in a moment. But the main ingredients, okay, starts with quercetin. If we break this down, I would say quercetin is the strongest natural antihistamine individual ingredient on the market. And folks, there's even a study, and we reference it right here on the text sheet, that they've studies compared to a drug called cromolyn. It was actually superior than reducing inflammation. Okay. Again, most doctors have never seen a study. How do I know that? Because when I show a doctor this, they're like, oh, and then nobody ever saw it. They're seeing it for the first time. But when you combine quercetin with vitamin C, as well as bromelain, that combination will enhance the quercetin. It'll make it work even faster. Okay, so just takes the whole quercetin level to, quercetin formula to a whole nother level there. Okay, then when you combine it with some immune enhancers such as zinc, we're using the Albion form of zinc called zinc arginate chelate. And again, folks, really difficult for your body to break down and absorb minerals. Another name for minerals are rock. So you want to use the most absorbable form. And again, the best one out there that we've seen, they have the most research. They're the oldest mineral manufacturer in the world. They have the most studies, and a very unique ionic bonding process is Albion. So that, again, they go by the acronym TRACS, stands for the real amino acid chelators. But anytime you see that, that's the best of the best in the world of minerals. Okay, so again, that's where the zinc can help out. And we also have the elderberry in this, or also known as sambucas there, or sambuca. I've heard it pronounced both ways. And again, there's in vitro and animal studies, antiviral, helps with the mucus as well. Okay, so we added that in this. We also have a very unique patented trademarked ingredient called Benegut. Okay, so this is perla leaf. And you might be saying, well, I never heard of perla leaf. And again, most people have not, because it's a traditional Chinese medicine herb. Okay, so it's really well known in the Asian culture, but not as well known here in this side of the world. But there's tremendous studies and research on it. And you go to the bottom here, animal and in vitro studies for all these classic allergy issues as well. All right. So even helping with asthma. So the Benegut part of this is a patented trademarked ingredient. And again, whenever using these patented trademarked ingredients, there's more research on it, there's more efficacy behind it. And so that it takes it perla leaf to a whole nother level. There's also benefits of it helping on the GI, which is or can be a factor on why you're having those allergies. Okay, so that's why it's called Benegut. All right, and then last but not least, we added my favorite ingredient of all time, dimethylglycine, or otherwise we shorten it called DMG. So on its own, DMG had a US patent to reduce all inflammation. And if you have allergies or any upper respiratory issues, folks, that's major inflammatory issue. But it also has been shown to increase oxygen into the cell. It also there's even at higher doses published or patent on it to treat cancer as well, right? So we're not making any claims, but we're just stating the facts. But DMG, when you combine DMG with any other ingredient, right, it will enhance it. It'll make all these already good ingredients that we just discussed, make them work even better. So we call this methylation, which is a fancy word for absorption. But DMG not only will help with the immune side and the inflammation side, but will make everything even better and work faster. And then when you can put it in a chewable, again, goes into your saliva, gets into your bloodstream, it will work even faster. So if I had my choice between the chewable or the capsule, I would prefer the chewable, simply because, again, we tell people 15 minutes, but I've seen it work in 5 minutes. I've seen it work in 60 seconds. We just on Saturday had a 15-year-old, right? 15-year-old who had some allergy issues. He took just one chewable. That was a bigger guy. He was already over 6 foot tall. I said, listen, you if you want the benefit, you got to take two at once. So he took one more, waited about 15 minutes, and he actually came up to me and he said, wow, I really noticed a difference. Okay. So again, the key with this is taking two at the same time if you have that seasonal allergy. Also, it's great for animal allergies, grass allergies. A lot of people mow the lawn, they break out. If you take this before, you won't break out. If you're going over to a family event where there's going to be animals and you have animal issues, take two of these, and it's fantastic for those kind of issues as well. If you have more serious issues, asthma, pneumonia, right? Bronchitis, those kind of, you got to be more aggressive. So we get the best clinical results of taking two morning, two at noon, two in the evening, 6 a day. Okay. Just this usually works. If you need additional support, I would recommend NAC, N-acetylcysteine, taking it the same way, the same dose, 6 a day. And if you have a sinus infection, I would also add additional quercetin, which we do sell by itself. Okay. Also combining it with the Aramax and the NAC, all of them together, 6 a day, temporarily, short term, aggressive. But we've had cases that was able to help a sinus infection without any antibiotic necessary. And again, that's how fantastic this is. Okay. So we took an already good formula, now have it in that strawberry. Okay. It is a great time of year to try this. It is strawberry season as well, Phil. So great time to introduce anything strawberry related. But I've had so many positive responses with this new flavor. So again, all we can do is ask you to try it. Okay. So that is new. What else is new? New and improved Probzyme. And of all the formulas that we carry in Nutrition Frontiers, which is over 200, the original formula that we launched 15 years ago was Probzyme. Okay. So we've had great success with it. It is unique. It is a chewable that has both digestive enzymes and antibiotics together in a chewable. And so this is great for any type of digestion issue. If you prefer chewables, and some people do, you can use it as an everyday probiotic, or if you can use this as an everyday probiotic, or you can use it as an everyday digestive enzyme if you prefer chewables. But if you're starting to have some, again, minor GI issues, and if you're going through heartburn, acid reflux, you might not think it's minor, but compared to major GI issues, it's minor. We would take two at once, wait 15 minutes, 9 times out of 10, it will give you immediate relief. If you don't get 100% response, we would take two more. And I would bet money that in the next 15 minutes, you will have 100% breathe. So very rare that, again, both the Aromax and the Probezyme work this quickly, that any supplements work this quickly. So just kind of keep that in mind when you are looking at different options, okay? But if you prefer chewables, it's great. By the way, we've had many pregnant women who also have these issues, especially when they get into the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th month of pregnancy. When they lay down, they can really notice and feel it. This is fantastic for pregnant women, for nursing women, great for anybody, really 2 years old up and up if they can chew. All right, but what did we do different? Okay, what did we add? So one of the things that we added is a newer patented trademark form of what's called spore probiotics, called lactospore. Okay, and again, this is the symbol for it right here on the tech sheet. So lactospore. So that term, spore probiotics. Let's talk about that for a minute. So there's a trend in the industry that more and more people are looking for spore probiotics. It's very simple. It's just basically probiotics that come from the ground. Okay, soil based, and that's really the definition of it. And again, it is a strain of Bacillus coagulans. Now, we've been using Bacillus coagulans from the very beginning, 15 years ago, when that term wasn't really, a big thing. So it's not that we changed the spore of the Bacillus coagulans, but what we did change is we now have this new trademark, and this has been shown to be even more shelf stable. It doesn't break down. In fact, all of our probiotics, we do test for that, but especially this one, non-GMO and organic, and it helps with all of these different GI issues, from abdominal pain, IBS, right, bloatiness, gas, and diarrhea, which is exactly what we would be taking this for, especially, 2 at once if you have those issues. So if you are looking for a spore probiotic, it is in the Probezyme, and it has always been, but now we just have a trademark form of it with even more research and benefit. By the way, we do use this in one of our other formulas, and that is in our women's complete multi. And you might say, why? Why are you putting it in a multi? Because there's also fantastic studies for this for feminine hygiene issues, helping prevent urinary tract issues, vaginosis, things like this. So the doctor who helped develop that women's complete multi, we call her Dr. V, Dr. Mary Verdalis. She is a holistic OBGYN and fertility expert out of Georgia. And so she really was emphatic that we have to use lactospore in our women's multi and prenatal, and that's why we have it in there. So that's just another reason and benefit of the lactospore. Okay. We also, let's go back up to the top here. We also are using a brand new type of enzyme called Optizyme. And this enzyme has been shown to be the best to help break down gluten. And not that we are encouraging eating gluten at all, folks. We're not. Okay. But again, we know reality, there's going to be parties or, family events where there's no other options. So if you now take this Probezyme with this new enzyme, it will really prevent those gluten issues, the bloatiness, and so forth and so on. Okay. The other thing that we added is inulin, and this is a prebiotic. Okay. And prebiotics are just basically feeding the probiotics to get even faster results. So we added inulin as a pre, along with that new Optizyme enzyme and that new lactospore probiotic. Okay. We kept the price the same. We have it in the same 3 flavors: fruit punch, cherry, and grape. We're sampling it here at the clinic. So come on down, try it out. But I've had really good positive feedback with this new one as well. And this, again, they said they get even faster results, which is great. Okay. All right. Next new one. All right, folks, this is exciting. This is our new chocolate flavored Pro Lean Greens. And you might say, wow, what a combination. Okay. But of all the formulas that we actually carry at Nutritional Frontiers, again, over 200 of them, the number one seller is our Pro Lean Greens. Okay. Out of all of them, because it's a very unique formula. And we'll talk about that more in a moment. So we've obviously had great feedback and great response with the original greens, but we took the number one formula, combined it with the number one flavor in the world, chocolate. I mean, who doesn't like chocolate, right? And to create a formula that even kids would like, let alone everybody else. And how do I know that? Because we've sampled it to kids and they love it. As young as 6, love it. Okay. So this will help to detoxify you and pull all the bad stuff out. And if you're feels like you're actually cheating with drinking something that's chocolate, but it's actually good for you. All right. So let's break this down because, again, very, very unique formula. So I always start with this right here. What makes this unique is the detox matrix. So we combine it with spirulina and chlorella, which will help with all heavy metals. We also have the DMG, right? NAC, also known as N-acetylcysteine, which is a precursor to glutathione, natural vitamin C, and the newest of the new is this new form of glutathione. And again, it's pronounced, the trademark name is called Emotion, but it's an S-acetyl L form of glutathione, crystallized form. Okay. So I had a doctor tell me the other day, he's like, we waited 30 years for this ingredient to be available. In the past, it was always difficult to mix glutathione in a formula because it did not taste the best. Also, just straight glutathione is very difficult for your body to break down and absorb. So, super excited to have this in this, right? And so that was what truly makes this unique, is that new form of glutathione, which, by the way, is your master detoxifier and is your master antioxidant. Okay. Then we switched over to the sunflower lecithin. We have some fiber in there. So again, prebiotic. You have your energy blend, including beetroot and green tea and ginkgo and bee pollen. You have some other great ingredients to help with alkalinity, including milk thistle and aloe vera, grapeseed. We have your probiotics in here. So it has pre and pro, and it has your enzymes all in one, folks, all in one. And we know there's lots of greens out there, but we have not seen any other greens like this one, and we've not seen one that tastes as good as this one. So last year when we introduced the new and improved original flavor, it was huge success for us. And now with this new chocolate flavor, again, so we are sampling it. In fact, we put it right in our juice machine, so you can come right in, try it immediately, and we'll see, how you like it. Okay. So especially if you tend to like chocolate flavoring, chocolate things, you would love this new one. All right. So that is also new. What else? Okay. Our Super Cal Plus capsules. So let's talk about this. And obviously, this is our calcium formula. So it's going to be great for bones, bone strength, bone function, overall bone health, right? So we know there's lots of calcium formulas out there on the market. So what makes this special and unique? So let's just go right to that text sheet on the back page. Okay. So this form of calcium is this long sounding name that most people have never heard of, called microcrystalline calcium hydroxyapatite, or we nickname it, or the acronym for it is MCHC. So if you go to the second paragraph right here on the text sheet, it explains what it is. So bone consists of inorganic and organic matrix. The inorganic matrix is approximately 60% of the dry weight of the bone itself and is mainly calcium hydroxyapatite crystals. it is responsible for providing the bones with the ability to withstand hard impact and falls. Now, the organic matrix is comprised of collagen. So a lot of people think about collagen with skin and hair and joints, and it does, but it will also help with your bones. So our HA Plus, our Nido Keto Shake have collagen in it. It will help your bones too. So keep that in mind. The chondroitin sulfate, as well as other growth factors. So this is in, chondroitin is also in our HA Plus. So it's not just, that formula is not just for joints, but it also is for the bones, right? So we know over time or injuries, wear and tear, the bones break down, regeneration, right? So you constantly have to keep regenerating that. So you need all these ingredients: MCHC, calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, K, and trace minerals, and they're all in this formula. So we actually have another sheet, a comparison sheet that looks at the absorbability of this type of calcium, the MCHC, and it's been shown, studies, 95% absorbable. When you look at other calciums out there on the market, such as calcium citrate, it's only about 55% absorbable. And then, of course, we get into the even worse forms, the calcium carbonates, which is typically anywhere from 1 to 8%. So the question is, where does the rest of the calcium go if you're not absorbing it into the bones? Even the citrate form, right? 45% is not being absorbed. So some of it you're excreting, right? Going right through you, right? Eliminating. But some of it can actually store in your blood. And this is what can actually cause bone spurs. It builds up calcium deposits in your bone and even kidney stones. So if someone has those issues, the first question I'm asking, what type of calcium do you take? Okay. And it's usually the cheap stuff, right? Or how much dairy are you consuming? And is it organic, hormone free, antibiotic free, clean dairy, or is it the cheap stuff? So folks, we know things, with price matters. We know everybody's on a budget. We understand that, but it's better for you to spend a little bit more money on your supplements instead of saving a few dollars and trying to buy the cheap stuff, because it can actually hurt you in the long run. This is a classic example of that when it comes to calcium. Okay. So just keep that in mind. All right. As far as how we look at that. So it has your vitamin D, a little bit of D in there. Okay. Again, we would recommend even more these days, 5,000 IUs, which is 125 micrograms. It has, no, so this is what we did change. Okay. So let's talk about the changes. So we switched over the magnesium, okay, to the Albion form. We just talked about it a minute ago. And then we also have some trace minerals in there, copper and boron. And then we also now are using a trademark form of K2 called Vita MK7. So if we go down to the bottom here, again, you're going to see those trademarked ingredients. Okay, the Albion magnesium and the Vita MK7 K2. So let's talk about K2 for a minute, because again, not all K2 is created equal. So K2 is very, very difficult to make from a vitamin. I know most people don't think about this, but it's actually a fermentation process that they have to use. And we actually looked at all the K2 raw material, the ingredients on the market, and pretty much all of them are very unstable. They're only about 50 to 55% stable, meaning 50 to 55% absorbable. Okay. And so, again, even supplement companies, why do they choose other forms? Because they're cheaper, but we're not. K2 has been shown to be the most absorbable, the most stable, 99.9% absorbable. Okay. So, that's why we're using this. Now, K2 does many benefits, but the two most important is it'll take that calcium, and again, we're using the best form, the MCHC is going to push it into the bones faster. So you're going to get faster benefit. And it also will take, if you have any excess calcium in the blood, it's going to bind it and excrete it and eliminate it. Okay. So it actually prevents osteoporosis, K2, and atherosclerosis, the hardening of your arteries. Okay. And that's what's happening. Your arteries are calcifying. And again, some people are their own worst enemy, taking the cheap calcium. So K2 will really help with both aspects. And so you want the most absorbable K2. And so that's what we're using. That's what we just switched over now with the SuperCal capsules. All right. So let's talk about dosage. Now, if you don't have any bone issues at all, and you're just taking this for prevention, of course, prevention is the best medicine. If you're under 50, we would recommend two a day. If you're over 50, we need to be even a little bit more aggressive, okay, because you're more prone to having this bone loss. So we would recommend 4 a day. If you have the diagnosis of osteoporosis or osteopenia, then we need to be even more aggressive with the capsules. And we would recommend 6 a day, okay? 6 a day in divided dose. I would also recommend our Super K2 Plus 2 a day, which has even higher levels of K2, as well as 5,000 D and vitamin A and magnesium to it at 2 a day. So that's going to, again, give you even faster results as well. Okay. So we would do that. And again, we can't make any claims, of course, but there's one of my other accounts. He's a chiropractor. And his mom was diagnosed with osteoporosis at age 82. So he reaches out to me. He asked me, what should we do? I told him exactly what I just said. 6 a day of the Super Cal Caps, 2 a day of the Super K2. And she took it religiously until she got her next DEXA scan. Now, we can't make any claims, folks, but she does not have osteoporosis anymore. She doesn't even have osteopenia. The doctor who was working with her has been practicing over 20 years, said he's never seen anyone at age 82 reverse osteoporosis. But in her case, it did. It did. So the point of this is it's never too late to turn these things around and to regrow bone. If you give your body the right form and you take enough of it, we can pretty much turn around any major condition if you take enough of it. Okay. So now, what if you have a current fracture, broken bone? Okay. So again, that's a major trauma. We need to be even more aggressive with the capsules. We would recommend 8 a day. So divide dose, 4 in the morning, 4 at night. And we would also recommend additional Super K2, 2 a day, or you can also do the D3K2, 1 a day. That's also a brand new formula. So either one with the 8 capsules of the Super Cal Caps. And, again, through the years, I've had some extraordinary cases, and that's one of the great things about this job. And again, I get to hear such incredible stories. And so, but 2 in particular really stick out in the world of broken bones. Okay. So one case was a chiropractor herself, 56 years old. She slipped, she fell on her arm, she fractured it. So she took exactly what I told her to take, exactly what we just talked about, the Super Cal. And at the time, we just had the Super K2. She went back to the orthopedic 2 weeks later. They took an x-ray and they couldn't find the fracture, folks. Meaning it healed a fractured arm in 2 weeks. 56 years old, female. Again, that doctor had been practicing over 25 years, said he's never seen this before. And she actually sent me the x-rays before and after to validate this. The second case was an even older female, 68 years old, and she also slipped and fell on her arm, fractured it. They told her minimum 4 months to heal. She took this consistently, religiously every day, and folks, it healed in 4 weeks. 4 weeks, 68-year-old. So these are just some of the amazing cases we've seen. Again, the point with all this is the best calcium your body can have. We now made it even better with the best magnesium and K2 that you can use. We did not change the price. Okay. So keep that in mind. It's down here at the clinic. Grab it anytime. All right. Next new one, Mag Complete Powder. Okay. So this is simply magnesium, but it's in a brand new flavor, lemonade, and we're using effervescent delivery system. So we'll talk about that more in a minute. So magnesium literally does hundreds and hundreds of things. This is just a small sampling, bone cardio and metabolism here, but let's just talk about, different ways we can use it. Magnesium, and almost, I would say statistically 90% of people are deficient in magnesium. Okay. Because why? Because their diet, it's found in green leafy vegetables and certain nuts. Okay. The most abundant sources of it. But when we're looking at the benefits of it for any type of tight muscles, muscle cramps, PMS cramps for females, okay, Charlie horses, restless leg, right? Just on so anywhere where you have muscular contractional pain, inflammation, magnesium will really help to loosen up those muscles, okay, very quickly. Then on the headaches and migraines, okay, so if someone has headaches or migraines, it's you can try CBD cream, rub it on the temples and behind the ears, and for some that helps. But if that doesn't, the next thing that I always suggest for headaches and migraines is magnesium. Okay, especially stress related headaches and migraines. Okay, so again, it takes a couple days, but again, we get really, really positive feedback with this. I would also avoid all dairy if you are having headaches and migraines, because dairy also tends to trigger that as well. So with that on the food side, we would avoid that as well. Lastly, on the cardiovascular side, again, that's a huge category, right? But what are we talking about? Well, it may help with blood pressure. Okay, magnesium, just simply adding magnesium. It is fantastic if you have AFib, regular heartbeat. Okay, it's also great if you had a heart attack or a stent or any major heart trauma. Magnesium will really help to strengthen the heart muscle. Okay, so again, plus again, there's hundreds of other things, but those are the main ones. How we position it. All right, so let's break this down. All right, when we look at the formula. All right. So again, what do we do here? We now are using the Albion form of magnesium. Okay. So this form is called dimagnesium malate, which is great, and along with magnesium bisglycinate chelate. Both are from Albion, best of the best. We just talked about it a minute ago, but now that's the form that we're using. Okay. A lot of other magnesium powders on the market are using magnesium citrate. Folks, citrate is great if you're constipated, but it's not the best form of magnesium if you have these other health issues. These are the best forms for that. Okay. So that's why we're using it. We also have some vitamin D in here. Now, again, that's 25 microgram. That's 1,000 IUs. We have to write it now under the metric system. We also have potassium in here. Now, potassium is very unique because potassium, again, an additional mineral, but it's a bicarbonate. And bicarbonate form is what's given that effervescent. So think tiny bubbles, effervescent bubbles, right? So think, classic example that would be like Alka-Seltzer, right? Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is, right? Now, the product itself, Alka-Seltzer, is terrible, but the technology that they're using is the same technology that we're trying to do with this formula, that effervescent bubble. Okay. You're going to get even greater, faster benefit and absorbability with the magnesium. All right. So that is really it with that. But again, the new lemonade flavor, and we are sampling it out here at the clinic. So give it a chance on that one as well. Now, if you prefer capsules, of course, we have it in capsules. We know the capsules are very popular. I would recommend 4 capsules a day, 2 in the morning, 2 at night, or if you have these type of issues, 4 at once. Okay. So we do have caps, of course, but some people prefer liquids. Again, that's how we would look at this, just another option out there. All right. And then last but not least is super creatine. Okay. Now, a lot of people, think about creatine and they think of bodybuilders, powerlifters, athletes, and absolutely it will help with that. It's been around since the 1990s, right? So going on 30 years of people using creatine. But again, not all creatine is created equal. We'll talk about that in a moment. We either increased or added 7 additional ingredients to this formula, including a nitric oxide boost as well. And it will also help with oxygen utilization. But the other thing I want you guys to think about with creatine is not just for athletes, but for the older population. So I did a lot of research on creatine before this formula came out. And if you go to PubMed, so this stands for Published Medical Studies, and these are all peer reviewed. This is what all the medical doctors look at when they're looking at ingredients and so forth and so on. You're looking at all the research. Okay, so they're not biased. They're not done by the company. They're actually independently peer reviewed. And when you look at creatine, what you see is that there's a lot, many, many, many studies on the benefits for the elderly. Okay. So think about people who are really struggling with canes and walkers, struggling getting out of the chair. And again, you might, have a family member that is in this situation, just really weak and, basically they're muscle wasting. So, number one, we would recommend protein, one of our protein drinks like our Super Shake or the whey protein, best way. But number two is the creatine will really help them because it will also, their PubMed study will actually increase bone mineral density. And again, think of people struggling in that situation, usually have osteoporosis or osteopenia. So you could additionally add a scoop of the super creatine with the super cal caps with the Super K2 to help even faster with bone issues. There's also PubMed studies with creatine for the brain, cognitive function, memory, and sleep. And again, tends to be the elderly. So if you combine this with our Brain Boost, which is a great capsule formula for memory and in helping with those issues, a great 1-2 combination. And then it also is an anti-inflammatory. So again, most of the older people are a lot of pain, inflammation, wear and tear. So again, you combine this with our SPMs or X-Flame, you'll get even faster results. Okay, so it's not just for the older population. So if we learn one thing today, that super creatine is safe for the elderly. But what makes this unique and different? So let's get into the formula, right? Okay, so not all creatine is created equal. There's a brand new type of creatine that has recently been out on the market, and it's a patented trademark form called creatine magna power, which is basically combining magnesium with creatine to provide optimal absorbability. Okay, so again, this is another unique formula by that supplier, Albion, which we just talked about, called creatine magna power. Okay, so there are numerous studies with this, including 2 PubMed studies. So on the athletic side, they did 2 studies. One was with elite soccer players, and this was a 4-month study, folks. Taking 1 scoop a day showed significant improvement in sprint time. And again, PubMed study, not Albion testing itself. Okay. Another study was on athletes doing bench press, showed significant improvement compared to regular creatine monohydrate. And that was a 10-day study. So when people say, how soon before I see results? usually we'll definitely know in one bottle, but usually in 10 days if you're taking this consistently. The other unique thing about this form of creatine is that there's no conversion to creatinine. And creatinine is where you get the side effects, and you had to do a loading dose. All right. So with this formula, there's no bloatiness, there's no GI upset, there's no cramping, and there's no loading dose. Because it will not convert to creatinine, we also feel will not stress the kidneys. So that's a big question we get, especially for the older population. Will it interfere with any medication? No, just taking an hour apart. Okay. But again, very unique form of creatine. So you get all the benefits without any of the negatives associated with creatine. But we didn't stop there. So we added many other things, as I said. So we added organic beetroots. Okay. So this is going to increase nitric oxide. And when you combine arginine with citrulline, okay, which also will increase nitric oxide with arginine, which will also increase nitric oxide, that combination will dramatically help increase all three together. And just on arginine and citrulline, folks, those two ingredients won a Nobel Prize back in the early 90s for increasing nitric oxide. So, what are the benefits of nitric oxide? Well, it's going to increase, if you're working out, it's going to reduce lactic acid. So you're going to give you a greater pump in the gym, that's why it's very popular in athletic world. But it's going to increase blood flow. It can actually help with erectile dysfunction. And that's actually, where those medications come into play. That's what they're doing, right? Of course, without any side effects. And it can also even help with blood pressure. So again, a lot of older people have elevated blood pressure, already on blood pressure meds. This will not interfere. It will only help with blood pressure. Okay, so keep that in mind. We also added two very important minerals, additional minerals, chromium in this and vanadium, right? So again, by Albion, we're using the active form of alpha lipoic acid. So anytime you see the R form, that stands for the active form. Again, helps with all these different athletic aspects, antioxidant, powerful antioxidant, and free radical. And then last but not least, there's the DMG again, right? So it takes an already good formula, makes it even better, right? Oh, I didn't even mention one other important one there. Vitacholine we're using helps with brain function. So again, a trademarked ingredient right there. And glutamine. And so glutamine is the most abundant amino acid for muscle tissue repair and recovery. So a lot of bodybuilders, a lot of athletes, a lot of guys I know take creatine separate, glutamine separate, nitric oxide separate. We put it all together in one. Okay. So you can take this any way you want. You can experiment. Some people take it post-workout. Some people take it pre-workout. But the best way I've personally used and recommended is on the way to the gym, days you're working out. I recommend to do one scoop, drink half of it or sip half of it on the way to the gym, and then sip on the other half during the workout. And then fill your water up with water, your sugar bottle up with water. Make sure you're properly hydrated there the rest of the workout. So it's really like a combination pre and during. Okay. On days you're not working out, or for the older population, just one scoop in the morning on days you're not working out. So you want to still take it even on days you're not working out. Okay. But again, an hour apart from any medication. So the other cool thing about this is the flavor. So let's go back up to that. So it is now raspberry kiwi. Okay. And folks, I've had people who've tried this who tell me, I don't even like raspberry and I like this formula. That's how good this is. So there's no grittiness, like a lot of creatine supplements. There's no chalkiness. It mixes instantly. It's a fantastic new flavor combination there, right? Very light and refreshing. You can mix with the spoon. But again, one bottle, we will know in one bottle if this could dramatically change a person's life. And I'm not joking if they give this a chance. Okay. So we're about wrapping up. And this is just in the last 6 weeks, folks. So we got a lot of other new things we're working on. We're never settle. We're always looking at the best ingredients, newest flavors, always trying to help it. So all we can do is give it a chance. Come on down, try these new flavors, right? And see what you think. All right, question time. Yes. The question is Probzyme safe for breastfeeding moms? And the answer is yes. It is fantastic if you're nursing. It is fantastic if you are pregnant. Again, it's simply probiotics and digestive enzymes, totally safe for them. Oh, it's question Air Max or Probzyme? Yeah. Air Max, again, with those ingredients, that's a little bit different. Just from a legal liability standpoint, I would prefer if they got approved by their OBGYN or midwife. It's just some of these ingredients have not been fully tested with that demographic. Okay. All right. But we stick again with the multi, the woman's complete. B vitamins are super B, right? Are safe if you're pregnant or nursing. Fish oil, the SPMs, totally safe. Minerals, totally safe. So the question was Air Max. Is Air Max safe? I would get approved by your OBGYN or midwife just to be on the safe side. But Probzyme definitely is. Okay. Any other questions? All right, folks, my time is up. If you can't make it in but still want to take advantage of all the specials, everything is on sale. Then the phone number is 412-922-9355. But we'd love for you to be here in person, try out these things, let us know what you think. All right, otherwise, my time is up. Have a happy and healthy day.